Do you know who my father is? He literally writes the laws you're reading from. Those words echo through Providence Municipal Court on a Tuesday morning. The woman who says them is 23 years old. Her name is Vivienne St. She stands in front of Judge Frank Caprio wearing a cream-colored Chanel jacket with gold buttons. Each button probably costs more than most people spend on groceries in a month. Her hair is perfect, blonde, styled, the kind of hair that requires a professional to maintain. On her wrist sits a Cartier love bracelet, solid gold. Around her neck hangs a delicate Tiffany pendant. Her shoes are Christian Louboutin, red bottoms. Everyone knows those shoes. They cost at least $1,200. Her nails are done. French tips. Perfect. She looks like money. Old money. Political money. The kind of money that opens doors. The kind of money that makes problems disappear. If you believe justice should be equal for everyone, you'll want to see what happens next. Judge Caprio sits at his bench. He's 78 years old. He's been a judge for decades. He's seen everything. Or so he thought. He looks at Vivienne. His face is calm. Patient. Kind. That's what people love about Judge Caprio. He treats everyone with dignity. Rich or poor. Young or old. Guilty or innocent. Everyone gets the same respect. Ms. St. Clair, he says. His voice is gentle. Please approach the bench. Vivienne doesn't move right away. She's looking at her phone. An iPhone 15 Pro Max. The newest one. It has a custom gold case. She's typing something. Her thumbs move fast across the screen. She doesn't look up. The bailiff clears his throat. He's a big man. Tall. Broad shoulders. His uniform is crisp. His badge shines under the courtroom lights. Ma'am, he says, the judge is addressing you. Vivienne sighs. It's a long sigh. The kind of sigh that says she's annoyed. She slides her phone into her designer purse. The purse is Hermes. A Birkin bag. Those bags cost more than some cars. She finally looks up at Judge Caprio. Sorry, she says. But she doesn't sound sorry. She sounds bored. I'm here. Let's just get this over with. People in the courtroom shift in their seats. A woman in the back row raises her eyebrows. A man in the third row crosses his arms. Even the court clerk looks up from her computer. This is already starting badly. Judge Caprio keeps his calm expression. Ms. St. Clair, you're here today for case 2025 TR 91847. Multiple parking violations in downtown Providence. 7 tickets over 3 months. The total fine is $475. Is that correct? Vivienne shrugs. One shoulder goes up, then down. I guess. I don't really keep track of parking tickets. You don't keep track? Judge Caprio asks. No, Vivienne says. She examines her nails. My assistant usually handles stuff like this. But she's on vacation. So here I am. Judge Caprio nods slowly. I see. Well, let me explain the situation. You parked illegally 7 times. Each time you blocked a handicapped parking spot. These spots are reserved for people with disabilities. People who need them. I was only there for like 5 minutes each time, Vivienne says. She waves her hand. The Cartier bracelet catches the light. It's not a big deal. Is a big deal, says a voice from the gallery. Everyone turns. A woman stands up. Her name is Margaret Chun. She's 54 years old. She's wearing scrubs. Hospital scrubs. Blue, with little teddy bears on them. She's a pediatric nurse. She works at Rhode Island Hospital. She's been working there for 22 years. She works the night shift. She gets off work at 7 in the morning. Then she goes to her second job. She cleans office buildings. She does this to support her mother. Her mother has Parkinson's disease. Her mother lives with her. Medical bills are expensive. Really expensive. Even with insurance. Margaret is tired. You can see it in her eyes. Dark circles underneath. Her shoulders sag. But she's standing now. Her hands are shaking. Not from fear. From anger. I'm sorry, Margaret says. She's looking at Vivienne. But it is a big deal. I have a handicapped placard. I have arthritis in both knees. Walking is painful. Every step hurts. When people like you park in those spots, I have to park far away. I have to walk. Sometimes I have to walk 2 or 3 blocks. By the time I get inside, my knees are screaming. So yes, it's a big deal. The courtroom is silent. You could hear a pin drop. Even the clock on the wall seems quieter. Vivienne looks at Margaret. She looks her up and down. Slowly. Her eyes move from Margaret's worn-out sneakers to her faded scrubs. Then Vivienne laughs. She actually laughs. It's a short laugh. A little chuckle. But it cuts through the silence like a knife. Okay, Vivienne says. She's still smiling. But maybe if you took better care of yourself, you wouldn't have arthritis. Just saying. The courtroom explodes. Not literally, but the noise is sudden and loud. People gasp. Someone says, "Oh my God," really loud. A man in the front row stands up. The bailiff takes a step forward. His hand moves to his side. Not to his weapon. Just a movement that says he's ready. Ready to keep order. Margaret's face goes red. Not from embarrassment. From rage. Tears fill her eyes. But she doesn't sit down. She stays standing. Judge Caprio raises his hand. "Order," he says. His voice isn't loud, but it's firm. "Everyone please sit down. Ms. Chun, thank you for your statement. Please be seated." Margaret sits, but her hands are still shaking. A woman next to her puts an arm around her shoulders. Judge Caprio looks at Vivienne. His expression hasn't changed much, but something is different in his eyes. Something hard. "Ms. St. Clair, that comment was inappropriate. I'm going to ask you to be respectful in this courtroom." Vivienne rolls her eyes. Actually rolls them. Like a teenager who's being told to clean her room. "Whatever. Can we just pay the fine and move on? I have a lunch reservation at noon." "We'll get to that," Judge Caprio says. "But first, I want to review the details of your violations. Bailiff, please bring up the evidence." The bailiff nods. He walks to a laptop on a side table. He clicks a few buttons. A large screen on the wall lights up. It shows a photo. The photo is of a silver Mercedes-Benz. It's a brand new model. Probably costs $90,000. The car is parked directly in a handicap spot. The blue paint on the ground is clearly visible. The handicap symbol is right there. The car is parked right on top of it. "This is your vehicle, correct?" Judge Caprio asks. Vivienne barely glances at the screen. "Yep, that's my car." "This photo was taken on January 15th at 2:47 p.m., Judge Caprio continues. "You were parked here for approximately 18 minutes. Not 5 minutes. 18. Vivienne shrugs again. "Okay, 18. Whatever." The bailiff clicks to the next photo. Same car. Different location. Another handicap spot. This one is from February 3rd. "You parked here for 22 minutes. Click. Another photo. February 19th, 31 minutes. Click. March 2nd, 14 minutes. Click. March 15th, 19 minutes. Click. March 28th, 27 minutes. Click. April 5th, 16 minutes. 7 photos. 7 different handicap spots. 7 different dates. But it's all the same car. The same silver Mercedes. The same license plate. Ms. St. Clair, Judge Caprio says. "This is a pattern. This isn't a one-time mistake. You repeatedly parked in handicapped spots. Even after receiving tickets. You kept doing it." Vivienne examines her nails again. "Look, I already said I'll pay the fine. Just tell me how much." "It's not just about the money," Judge Caprio says. "Everything is about money," Vivienne replies. She looks up now. She makes eye contact with the judge. "That's how the world works. I break a rule. I pay money. The city gets revenue. Everyone wins. Can we speed this up?" A woman in the gallery gasps. The sound is sharp. Shocked. Judge Caprio leans forward slightly. "Ms. St. Clair, do you understand why handicap parking spots exist?" "Obviously," Vivienne says. "For disabled people. I get it. But most of the time those spots are empty anyway. It's a waste of space. I'm just using available parking." "Available." Margaret Chen's voice comes from the gallery again. She's not standing this time. But her voice is loud. Clear. "Those spots aren't available. They're reserved. There's a difference." Vivienne turns around. She looks at Margaret. "You know what? Maybe you should just order delivery if walking is so hard." The courtroom explodes again. This time louder. Multiple people are talking at once. Someone shouts, "Are you kidding me?" The bailiff steps forward again. "Order," he says. His voice booms. Judge Caprio bangs his gavel. Once. Twice. 3 times. The wooden hammer hits the sound block. Bang. 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 The noise echoes. "Order in this court." Everyone settles down. But the energy in the room has changed. It's electric now. tense. People are angry. You can feel it in the air. Judge Caprio takes a deep breath. Ms. St. Clair, you're digging yourself into a very deep hole right now. I strongly suggest you stop talking and start listening. Vivienne crosses her arms. I'm listening. Good, Judge Caprio says. Because I want you to hear something. Bailiff, please play the recording. The bailiff nods. He clicks something on the laptop. A voice comes through the speakers. It's a female voice. Young. Confident. It's Vivienne's voice. Yeah, I got another ticket. Who cares? My dad will make a call. There's another voice. A friend maybe. Viv, you can't keep doing this. You're going to get in real trouble. Vivienne's voice laughs. Trouble? Please. Do you know who my father is? He's got half the city council in his pocket. One phone call and these tickets disappear. Trust me. But what if they don't? Then I'll pay them. It's like what? $400? I spend more than that on brunch. The recording stops. Silence fills the courtroom again. But this time it's different. This time the silence is heavy. Thick. Everyone is staring at Vivienne. Her face has gone pale. Not much, but enough to notice. Her perfect makeup can't hide it. Where did you get that? She asks. Her voice is quieter now. Your parking tickets were flagged, Judge Caprio explains. When someone receives multiple violations in a short period, especially in handicapped spots, our office investigates. We discovered that several city officials received phone calls about your case. Phone calls requesting that the tickets be dismissed. Those calls were logged. And in one instance, the parking enforcement officer was recording a conversation when you made this statement. It's legal in Rhode Island to record conversations with one-party consent. Vivienne's lawyer finally speaks up. He's been sitting quietly at the defense table. He's wearing an expensive suit. Gray. Tailored. His tie is silk. He stands up. Your Honor, I'd like to request a brief recess to speak with my client. Denied, Judge Caprio says. Sit down, counselor. The lawyer sits. He looks uncomfortable. He loosens his tie slightly. Vivienne is starting to look worried now. Just a little. Her confident smile is fading. Okay, so I said some stuff. So what? People say things all the time. You said your father would make the tickets disappear, Judge Caprio points out. That's called interference with judicial proceedings. That's a crime, Ms. St. Clair. I didn't actually do anything, Vivienne says quickly. I just said he could. That's not the same thing. You're right, Judge Caprio agrees. You didn't make the calls. But someone did. And they made those calls on your behalf. The question is, did you ask them to? Vivienne doesn't answer right away. She's thinking. You can see her brain working, trying to figure out what to say. What's safe to say? I want to speak to my father, she finally says. Your father isn't on trial, Judge Caprio responds. You are. Answer the question. Did you ask anyone to interfere with your parking tickets? I might have mentioned them, Vivienne admits. To my dad, and maybe to his assistant. But I didn't tell them to do anything illegal. But you expected them to make the problem go away, Judge Caprio says. It's not a question. It's a statement. Vivienne doesn't answer. She just looks down at her expensive shoes. Judge Caprio sits back in his chair. He's quiet for a moment, thinking. The whole courtroom waits. Finally, he speaks. Ms. St. Clair, I want to ask you something. And I want you to really think about your answer. Do you believe the law applies to you? Vivienne looks up. Of course it does. Do you? Judge Caprio asks again. Because your actions suggest otherwise. You parked illegally. Multiple times. You didn't pay your tickets. You expected someone else to fix it for you. You showed no remorse. You mocked a disabled woman in my courtroom. You laughed at her pain. So I'll ask again. Do you believe the law applies to you? Vivienne's mouth opens, then closes. She doesn't know what to say. For the first time, she looks uncertain. Let me tell you something, Judge Caprio continues. His voice is gentle but firm. I've been on this bench for a long time. I've seen thousands of people come through these doors. Rich people, poor people, everyone in between. And you know what I've learned? Money doesn't make you special. Your last name doesn't make you special. Your father's job doesn't make you special. What makes you special is how you treat other people, how you treat the world around you. And right now, Ms. St. Clair, you're not looking very special at all. Someone in the gallery starts to clap. Just one person, then another, then another. Soon, half the courtroom is clapping. The bailiff doesn't stop them. Even he looks like he wants to clap. Vivienne's face turns red. Not from anger this time. From embarrassment. She can feel everyone looking at her. Judging her. For once in her life, her last name isn't helping. Her money isn't helping. Nothing is helping. Judge Caprio raises his hand. The clapping stops. Now, he says, let's talk about what happens next. Ms. St. Clair, the court finds you guilty of 7 parking violations. The fine is $475. However, given your attitude and your complete lack of respect for the law, I'm adding additional penalties. Vivienne's lawyer stands up again. Your Honor, I must object. Your objection is noted and overruled, Judge Caprio says without looking at him. Sit down. The lawyer sits. He knows better than to argue further. Judge Caprio continues. In addition to the fines, your driver's license is suspended for 90 days. During that time, you will not operate any motor vehicle. If you're caught driving, you will face criminal charges. 90 days. 3 months. No driving. Vivienne's eyes go wide. You can't do that. I can, Judge Caprio says calmly. And I just did. But I'm not finished. Vivienne looks like she might faint. Her perfect makeup can't hide how pale she's gotten. Her hands grip the edge of the defendant's table. You will also complete 200 hours of community service, Judge Caprio announces. 200 hours. That's 5 weeks of full-time work. Gasps fill the courtroom. Even Vivienne's lawyer looks surprised. 200 hours. Vivienne repeats. Her voice is shaky now. Doing what? I'm glad you asked, Judge Caprio says. You're going to work as a mobility assistant at Rhode Island Hospital. You will help patients who have trouble walking. Patients in wheelchairs. Patients with walkers. Patients with canes. You will push wheelchairs. You will help people get from their cars to the hospital entrance. You will assist them with doors. You will carry their bags. You will do this every Saturday and Sunday for the next 25 weeks. That's 6 months, Ms. St. Clair. Every weekend. Rain or shine. No exceptions. The courtroom is absolutely silent now. Everyone is staring at Vivienne. She looks like she's been slapped. Her mouth hangs open. Her eyes are huge. Your supervisor, Judge Caprio continues, will be Margaret Chun. Margaret gasps. She brings her hand to her mouth. Tears fill her eyes again. But these are different tears. These are happy tears. Ms. Chun, Judge Caprio says, looking at Margaret. Ms. St. Clair will report directly to you. She will arrive at 6 a.m. She will work until 2 p.m. You will document her attendance and her performance. You will report back to this court every 4 weeks. If she misses a single day without a valid medical excuse, she will face contempt charges. If she shows up late, that day doesn't count toward her hours. If she's disrespectful to patients or staff, she will face additional penalties. Is that clear? Margaret nods. She can't speak. She's crying too hard. The woman next to her hugs her. Judge Caprio turns back to Vivienne. And one more thing. You will wear a bright yellow vest during your service. The vest will have words printed on the back in large black letters. Those words will say, Community Service, Court Ordered. Everyone who sees you will know why you're there. A yellow vest, like a crossing guard, like a construction worker. Everyone will see her. Everyone will know. Vivienne St. Clair, daughter of Senator Richard St. Clair, in a bright yellow vest pushing wheelchairs. The image is humiliating. This is insane, Vivienne says. Her voice is rising now, getting louder. You can't make me do this. This is cruel and unusual punishment. It's neither cruel nor unusual, Judge Caprio responds. It's appropriate. You showed no regard for disabled individuals. Now you're going to spend 6 months helping them. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll develop some empathy. Maybe you'll understand that those handicapped spots aren't just empty spaces. They're lifelines for people who need them. My father's going to hear about this, Vivienne says. She's pointing at Judge Caprio now. Her finger shakes. He's going to have your job. You can't treat me like this. Do you know who he is? Judge Caprio's expression doesn't change. Yes, Miss St. Clair. I know who your father is. Senator Richard St. Clair. 3rd District. He's been in office for 12 years. He sits on the Judiciary Committee. He has a lot of power. I know all of that. Vivienne smiles. It's a small smile. Triumphant. Like she's won. Then you know you should let me go. No, Judge Caprio says. The word is firm. Final. What I know is that your father swore an oath to uphold the law. Just like I did. And if he tries to interfere with his sentence, he'll be violating that oath. I don't think he'll do that. I have more faith in him than you seem to. The smile disappears from Vivienne's face. But let me be very clear, Judge Caprio continues. If anyone attempts to interfere with this sentence, I will hold them in contempt. I don't care who they are. Senator, congressman, governor, president. I don't care. In this courtroom, everyone is equal, and everyone follows the same rules. He pauses. The courtroom is so quiet you could hear a heartbeat. Furthermore, Judge Caprio says, you've shown contempt for this court today. You laughed at a disabled woman. You were disrespectful to me. You attempted to use your father's position as a shield. That behavior has consequences. He looks at the bailiff. Bailiff, take Ms. St. Clair into custody. The bailiff steps forward. He pulls handcuffs from his belt. The metal jingles. Vivienne's eyes go wider than before. She takes a step back. What? No. You can't arrest me. I can, Judge Caprio says. And I am. You're being held in contempt of court. You'll spend the next 15 days in the adult correctional institution. After that, you'll begin your community service. This is illegal. Vivienne shouts. She's looking at her lawyer. Do something. Her lawyer stands. He looks miserable. Your Honor, please. My client is young. She made mistakes. Perhaps we could. Your client had every opportunity to show respect, Judge Caprio interrupts. She chose not to. Now she faces the consequences. The sentence stands. The bailiff reaches Vivienne. Ma'am, please turn around and put your hands behind your back. Vivienne doesn't move. She's frozen. In shock. This can't be happening. Not to her. Not to Vivienne St. Clair. She's untouchable. She's protected. The bailiff gently takes her arm. Ma'am, I need you to cooperate. Vivienne starts to cry. Real tears this time. Not elegant, pretty tears. Ugly tears. Her mascara runs. Her perfect makeup smears. Please, she says. Her voice breaks. Please don't do this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You should have thought about that earlier, Judge Caprio says. His voice is sad now. Not angry. Just sad. Turn around, Ms. St. Clair. Slowly, Vivienne turns around. The bailiff puts the handcuffs on her wrists. Click. Click. The sound echoes through the silent courtroom. Vivienne's expensive Cartier bracelet sits next to the metal handcuffs. The contrast is stark. Gold and silver. Wealth and justice. Her Chanel jacket looks ridiculous now. Her perfect hair doesn't matter. Her designer shoes are just shoes. In this moment, she's not a senator's daughter. She's not rich. She's not powerful. She's just a young woman who broke the law and got caught. The bailiff leads her toward side door. Vivienne walks slowly. Her head is down. She's still crying. Sobbing really. Her whole body shakes. As she reaches the door, she looks back. Her eyes find Margaret Chun in the gallery. I'm sorry, Vivienne says. Her voice is barely a whisper. I'm so sorry. Margaret doesn't respond. She just watches as Vivienne disappears through the door. The door closes with a heavy thud. The courtroom stays silent for a moment. Then, slowly, people start to move. They whisper to each other. They gather their things. The show is over. Judge Caprio sits at his bench. He looks tired. He takes off his glasses. He rubs his eyes. This isn't fun for him. He doesn't enjoy punishing people. But sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes people need to learn. Margaret Chun walks up to the bench. She's still crying. But she's smiling too. Thank you, Your Honor, she says. Thank you so much. Judge Caprio puts his glasses back on. He looks at Margaret. He smiles. It's a warm smile. A kind smile. Miss Chun, I'm sorry you had to endure that young woman's comments. No one should be treated that way. Especially not in a court of law. It's okay, Margaret says. I've heard worse. But I've never seen someone face consequences like that before. Everyone faces consequences eventually, Judge Caprio says. Sometimes it just takes longer for some people. Margaret nods. She wipes her eyes. I'll do my best with her. I'll try to teach her. I know you will, Judge Caprio says. That's why I chose you. You have compassion. Even after how she treated you. That's remarkable. Margaret smiles. It's a tired smile, but genuine. I'm a nurse. Compassion is part of the job. She turns to leave. Then she stops. She looks back at Judge Caprio. Your Honor, do you think she'll actually change? Judge Caprio thinks about this. I don't know, he admits. Some people change. Some don't. But I have to believe there's hope. Otherwise, what's the point? Margaret nods. She understands. Hope is important, even when it's hard to find. She leaves the courtroom. The doors close behind her. Judge Caprio is alone now. Well, not completely alone. The clerk is still there. The bailiff has returned from taking Vivienne away. Judge, the bailiff says. That was something. It was something all right, Judge Caprio agrees. Do you think her father will try to interfere? The bailiff asks. Judge Caprio shrugs. Maybe. Probably. But I meant what I said. If he does, he'll face consequences too. No one is above the law. The bailiff nods. He's worked with Judge Caprio for years. He knows the judge means every word. What's next? The clerk asks. Judge Caprio looks at the docket. The list of cases for the day. Case 2025, TR 91848, he reads. Expired registration. Should be quick. But he's thinking about Vivienne St. About her tears. About her fear. About whether she'll actually learn anything from this experience. Time will tell. 15 days pass slowly for Vivienne. The adult correctional institution is not a nice place. It's not supposed to be. It's jail. The cells are small. The beds are hard. The food is bad. Really bad. Nothing like the restaurants Vivienne is used to. She shares a cell with 3 other women. They're not impressed by her designer clothes. They don't care about her father. One of them even makes fun of her Louboutin shoes. Those red bottoms ain't gonna help you here, princess. Vivienne doesn't sleep much. The first night, she doesn't sleep at all. She just sits on her bunk and cries. The other women ignore her. They've seen it all before. By the 3rd day, Vivienne stops crying. She's just numb. She does what she's told. She eats the bad food. She makes her bed. She follows the rules. She keeps her head down. On the 5th day, her father visits. Senator Richard St. Clair walks into the visiting room wearing a suit. Navy blue. Expensive. His hair is gray. Distinguished. He looks every inch the powerful politician he is. He sits down across from Vivienne. A thick glass window separates them. They pick up phones to talk. Hi, Dad, Vivienne says. Her voice is small. She looks terrible. No makeup. Hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Orange jumpsuit. She's never looked less like herself. Vivienne, her father says. He doesn't sound angry. He sounds disappointed. That's worse. What were you thinking? I don't know, Vivienne admits. I wasn't thinking. I thought I could get away with it. Get away with what? Senator St. Clair asks. Parking illegally? Or treating people like garbage? Vivienne flinches. Both, I guess. Her father sighs. It's a long, heavy sigh. I got calls from 3 different judges after your hearing. They all wanted to know if I was going to try to overturn the sentence. What did you tell them? Vivienne asks. I told them no, her father says. I told them Judge Caprio was right. You broke the law. You were disrespectful. You deserve the punishment. Vivienne's eyes fill with tears. You're not going to help me? I am helping you, her father says firmly. By letting you face the consequences of your actions. I've protected you your whole life, Vivienne. I've made your problems disappear. I've pulled strings. I've called in favors. And what has that taught you? Nothing. It taught you that you're above the rules. That you can do whatever you want without consequences. Well, not anymore. Dad. No, Senator St. Clair interrupts. Listen to me. I love you. You're my daughter. But I've failed you. I've raised you to believe that money and power solve everything. That's wrong. And now you're paying the price for my mistakes as much as your own. Vivienne is full-on crying now. I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm so sorry. Don't apologize to me, her father says. Apologize to that nurse. The woman you mocked. Ms. Chun. She's the one who deserves your apology. I will, Vivienne promises. I'll apologize. I'll do better. I promise. Her father looks at her. Really looks at her. He sees his little girl. But he also sees a spoiled young woman who needs to grow up. Good, he says. Because when you get out of here, your real work begins. 200 hours of community service. That's serious, Vivienne. You need to take it seriously. I will, Vivienne says again. They talk for a few more minutes. Then visiting time is over. Senator St. Clair stands. He puts his hand on the glass. Vivienne puts her hand on the other side. They can't actually touch. But it's something. I love you, her father says. I love you too, Vivienne replies. He leaves. Vivienne goes back to her cell. She lies on her bunk. She stares at the ceiling. She thinks about what her father said. About how he failed her. About how she failed herself. She thinks about Margaret Chun. About her tired eyes. About her painful knees. About how hard she works. 2 jobs. Taking care of her sick mother. And Vivienne mocked her. Laughed at her. Treated her like she didn't matter. For the first time, Vivienne feels true shame. Not embarrassment about being arrested. Not humiliation about wearing an orange jumpsuit. Real shame. Deep shame. The kind that makes your chest hurt and your stomach twist. She closes her eyes. She makes a decision. When she gets out, she's going to try. Really try. Not just to get through the community service, but to actually learn. To change. To be better. Maybe it's too late. Maybe the damage is done. But she has to try. The remaining days pass. Finally, on day 15, Vivienne is released. She walks out of the correctional facility wearing the same Chanel jacket she wore to court. It's wrinkled now. Dirty. It smells like jail. She hates it. Her mother is waiting outside. She drives Vivienne home. They don't talk much. Her mother looks sad. Disappointed. Just like her father. At home, Vivienne takes a long shower. She scrubs her skin until it's red. She washes her hair 3 times. She tries to wash away the feel of jail. The smell. The memory. Then, she looks at the paperwork from the court. Her community service schedule. She starts tomorrow. Saturday morning. 6 a.m. Rhode Island Hospital. Report to Margaret Chun, Mobility Assistant Coordinator. She sets 3 alarms. She's not going to be late. She can't afford to be late. That night, she barely sleeps. She's nervous. Scared. What will Margaret say when she sees her? What will the other hospital staff think? What if she messes up? The alarm goes off at 4:30 a.m. Vivienne gets up. She puts on simple clothes. Jeans. A plain t-shirt. Sneakers. No jewelry. No makeup. Just her. Plain Vivienne. She drives to the hospital. Well, her mother drives. Vivienne's license is still suspended. They arrive at 5:50 a.m. 10 minutes early. The hospital is already busy. Ambulances pull up to the emergency entrance. Their lights flash. Red and blue. People in scrubs rush around. Doctors. Nurses. EMTs. Everyone moving with purpose. Vivienne walks to the main entrance. She finds a woman waiting there. The woman is wearing scrubs. Blue ones with teddy bears. It's Margaret Chun. Margaret looks at Vivienne. Her face is neutral. Not friendly. Not mean. Just neutral. You're early, she says. Yes, ma'am, Vivienne replies. Her voice is quiet. Respectful. Margaret nods. Good. Come with me. She leads Vivienne to a small office. Inside, there's a yellow vest hanging on a hook. The bright yellow vest Judge Caprio mentioned. On the back, in large black letters, it says exactly what he promised. Community service, court ordered. Put it on, Margaret says. Vivienne takes the vest. Her hands shake slightly. She puts it on. It's too big. It hangs awkwardly on her small frame. She looks ridiculous. Margaret watches her. How does it feel, she asks. Humiliating, Vivienne admits honestly. Good, Margaret says. That's the point. Now let me explain your job. You're going to help patients get from their cars to the hospital. Some will need wheelchairs. Some will use walkers. Some will just need an arm to lean on. Your job is to assist them, to make their journey easier, to show them compassion. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am, Vivienne says. Don't call me ma'am, Margaret says. Call me Margaret. Yes, Margaret, Vivienne corrects herself. Margaret almost smiles. Almost. Come on. Your first patient is arriving now. They walk outside. An older man is getting out of a car. He moves slowly. Very slowly. He's using a walker. His wife is helping him. They both look worried. Stressed. Mr. and Mrs. Patterson, Margaret says warmly. Good morning. This is Vivienne. She's going to help you get inside. Vivienne steps forward. She's not sure what to do. Hi, she says. Can I help you? Mr. Patterson looks at her vest. He reads the words. Community service, huh? He says. What did you do? Vivienne's face turns red. I parked in handicapped spots. Multiple times. Mr. Patterson nods slowly. Well, at least you're making up for it now. He hands her a bag. This has my medication and paperwork. Can you carry it? Of course, Vivienne says. She takes the bag. It's heavy. Together, they walk toward the entrance. Mr. Patterson moves very slowly. Each step takes effort. His walker scrapes against the pavement. Vivienne walks beside him. She doesn't rush him. She just stays close, ready to help if he stumbles. It takes 5 minutes to walk 50 feet. 5 long minutes. Vivienne's never walked that slowly in her life. But she's patient. She waits. When they reach the door, Mr. Patterson stops. He's breathing hard. "Thank you, young lady," he says. "You're welcome," Vivienne says. Mrs. Patterson touches Vivienne's arm. "Thank you for being here," she says. "It helps more than you know." Vivienne feels something in her chest. Something warm. It takes her a moment to recognize it. It's gratitude. People are grateful for her help. That's new. She helps 5 more patients that morning. An elderly woman in a wheelchair. A young man on crutches. A mother carrying a sick baby. Each one is different. Each one needs something different. But they all need help. And Vivienne provides it. By 2 p.m., Vivienne is exhausted. Her feet hurt. Her back aches. She's been standing and walking for 8 hours straight. She's pushed wheelchairs. She's carried bags. She's held doors. She's helped dozens of people. Margaret finds her at the end of the shift. "How was your first day?" she asks. "Tiring," Vivienne admits. "But good. It was good." Margaret nods. "You did well. Better than I expected, honestly. Some people come here and complain the whole time. You didn't complain once." "I didn't have the right to complain," Vivienne says. "This is my punishment. I deserve it." Margaret looks at her carefully. "Maybe you do deserve it. But those patients don't deserve a helper who's only here because she has to be. They deserve someone who cares. So tomorrow, when you come back, I want you to care. Really care. Not because a judge told you to, but because it's the right thing to do. Can you do that?" Vivienne thinks about this. Can she? Can she really care about strangers? People she doesn't know? People who aren't rich or important or connected? She thinks about Mr. Patterson. About how hard it was for him to walk. About how grateful he was for her help. She thinks about the mother with the sick baby. About the worry in her eyes. About how Vivienne held the door and the mother whispered, "Thank you." "I can try," Vivienne says. "I want to try." Margaret smiles. It's a real smile this time. "That's all I'm asking. Try." The weeks pass. Vivienne comes back every Saturday and Sunday. 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. She wears the yellow vest. She helps patients. She pushes wheelchairs. She carries bags. She listens to stories. Mr. Patterson comes back several times. He's getting chemotherapy. Cancer. He tells Vivienne about his life. About his time in the Navy. About his 3 grandchildren. About how scared he is. Vivienne listens. Really listens. And she realizes something. These people aren't just patients. They're not just strangers. They're human beings with lives and stories and fears and hopes. There's a woman named Rosa. She's 62. She cleans houses for a living. She hurt her back lifting a heavy vacuum. She's in so much pain, she can barely walk. But she can't afford to miss work. She needs the money. Vivienne helps Rosa inside. She helps her get registered. She stays with her while she waits. 3 hours. Vivienne sits in uncomfortable plastic chairs and just stays. Because Rosa is alone. And no one should be alone when they're scared. When Rosa finally sees a doctor, she cries. Not from pain. From relief. Someone cared. Someone stayed. "Thank you," Rosa says to Vivienne. She hugs her. A real hug. "You're an angel." Vivienne isn't an angel. She knows that. But maybe she can be kind. Maybe that's enough. One Sunday, a young girl arrives. She's maybe 7 years old. She's in a wheelchair. Her name is Lily. She has cerebral palsy. Her muscles don't work right. She can't walk. She has trouble talking. Vivienne pushes Lily's wheelchair. Lily looks up at her. "Pretty," Lily says. It's hard to understand. But Vivienne gets it. "Thank you," Vivienne says. "You're pretty too." Lily smiles. It's a big, beautiful smile. "I like your vest," Lily says slowly. Vivienne looks down at the bright yellow vest. The vest that says she's a criminal. That says she's being punished. "You like it?" she asks. "Yellow is happy," Lily says. Vivienne laughs. She actually laughs. "You know what? You're right. Yellow is happy." From that day on, Vivienne sees the vest differently. It's not just a mark of shame. It's bright. It's visible. It means people can see her. Find her. Get help. 12 weeks pass. Vivienne has completed 96 hours of her 200-hour sentence. She's almost halfway done. Margaret fills out her progress reports. Each week, the reports are positive, punctual, professional, compassionate. On the 13th week, something changes. Vivienne arrives at 5:50 a.m. as usual. But she's carrying something. A box of donuts. Not fancy donuts from an expensive bakery. Just regular donuts from Dunkin'. These are for the staff, Vivienne tells Margaret. The nurses and doctors who work overnight. I thought they might be hungry. Margaret takes the box. She's surprised. You didn't have to do this. I know, Vivienne says. I wanted to. Margaret opens the box. Inside are a dozen donuts. Different kinds. Thank you, she says. This is really thoughtful. Word spreads quickly. The girl in the yellow vest brought donuts. Nurses stop by to grab one. They thank Vivienne. They smile at her. One nurse, a young woman named Jessica, sits with Vivienne during a break. So you parked in handicapped spots? Jessica asks. Yeah, Vivienne admits. Multiple times. I was stupid. And selfish. At least you're making up for it, Jessica says. I see you out there every weekend. You work hard. I'm trying, Vivienne says. It shows, Jessica replies. More weeks pass. Vivienne keeps coming. She's never late. She's never absent. She brings donuts every few weeks. She learns the names of regular patients. She remembers their stories. Mr. Patterson finishes his chemotherapy. He's going to be okay. He gives Vivienne a hug. You helped me more than you know, he says. Just by being here. By caring. Rose's back gets better. She returns to work. But she comes by the hospital just to see Vivienne. I want to say thank you again, Rosa says. And to tell you something. You're not just doing community service. You're building community. There's a difference. Vivienne thinks about that. Building community. She likes that. Lily comes back too. Her condition is incurable. She'll be in a wheelchair her whole life. But her spirit is unbreakable. She always smiles when she sees Vivienne. Yellow Girl, she calls out. That's her nickname for Vivienne. Yellow Girl. By week 23, Vivienne has completed 184 hours. Only 16 more to go. She should be excited. Almost done. Almost free. But she's not. She's sad. She's going to miss this. Miss the patients. Miss Margaret. Miss feeling useful. On her second to last day, Margaret pulls her aside. We need to talk, she says. Vivienne's heart sinks. Did she mess up? Did she do something wrong? They sit in the small office. The same office where Vivienne first put on the yellow vest. What's wrong? Vivienne asks. Nothing's wrong, Margaret says. I just wanted to tell you something. You've surprised me, Vivienne. When Judge Caprio first assigned you to me, I was angry. I didn't want to supervise you. I thought you were just another spoiled rich kid who would do the bare minimum and complain the whole time. But I was wrong. Vivienne doesn't know what to say. So she just listens. You've worked hard, Margaret continues. You've shown up every single week. You've been kind to patients. You've made a real difference. And I wanted you to know that I'm proud of you. Tears fill Vivienne's eyes. When was the last time someone said they were proud of her? She can't remember. Thank you, she whispers. That means a lot. I also wanted to tell you something else, Margaret says. Judge Caprio asked me to write a final report. About your service. About whether I think you've learned anything. Do you want to know what I wrote? Vivienne nods. Margaret pulls out a piece of paper. She reads, Vivienne St. began this assignment as a reluctant participant. She was completing court-ordered service because she had no choice. But somewhere along the way, something changed. She stopped doing the work because she had to. She started doing it because she wanted to. She learned to see people. Really see them. Not as obstacles or inconveniences, but as human beings deserving of dignity and respect. She learned that privilege is not a right. It's a responsibility. A responsibility to help others. To make the world better. In my professional opinion, Vivienne has not only completed her community service. She has transformed herself. She is not the same person who walked into this hospital 6 months ago. And I believe she never will be again. Vivienne is crying now. Full tears rolling down her face. Thank you, she says. Thank you so much. Margaret hands her a tissue. You did the work, Vivienne. I just watched. The final day arrives. Sunday. Week 25. Vivienne's last shift. She arrives at 5:50 a.m. She puts on the yellow vest one last time. She helps patients. She pushes wheelchairs. She carries bags. At 2 p.m., her service is officially complete. 200 hours. Done. Finished. She can take off the vest. But she doesn't want to. Not yet. Margaret finds her standing outside. The yellow vest is still on. It's over, Margaret says gently. You can go. I know, Vivienne says. Can I ask you something? Of course. Can I keep coming back? Vivienne asks. Not for court. Not because I have to. But as a volunteer? I'd like to keep helping. Margaret smiles. It's a big, genuine smile. I'd like that very much. They hug. A real hug. Not supervisor and court-ordered worker. Friends. Vivienne takes off the yellow vest. She folds it carefully. She hands it to Margaret. Thank you, she says. For everything. For being patient with me. For teaching me. For giving me a chance. Thank you for being open to learning, Margaret replies. Vivienne walks to her mother's car. Her mother is waiting. She's been waiting every Saturday and Sunday for 6 months. How do you feel? Her mother asks. Different, Vivienne says. Good different. They drive home. Vivienne looks out the window. She sees the city differently now. She sees the people, the struggles, the beauty. She sees the handicapped parking spots, the blue-painted spaces. She'll never park in one again. Not ever. 1 week later, Vivienne returns to Providence Municipal Court. It's time for her final hearing. The courtroom is less crowded this time. No audience. Just her lawyer, Margaret, and Judge Caprio. Vivienne approaches the bench. She's wearing simple clothes again. No Chanel. No Cartier. Just jeans and a sweater. She looks different. Softer. Humbler. Judge Caprio looks at her. Ms. St. Clair, he says. I've read Margaret Chen's report. I've also received letters from several patients you helped. Mr. Patterson wrote to me. So did Rosa Hernandez. So did Lily Chen's mother. They all had very kind things to say about you. Vivienne's eyes water. They wrote letters. They did, Judge Caprio confirms. They wanted me to know that you made a difference in their lives. That you showed compassion. That you cared. Vivienne wipes her eyes. They made a difference in mine too. Judge Caprio nods. Ms. St. Clair, when you first came to my courtroom, you were arrogant. Disrespectful. You believed your privilege made you special. Made you above the law. Do you remember what I told you? You told me that money doesn't make you special, Vivienne says. How you treat people makes you special. That's right, Judge Caprio says. Have you learned that lesson? Vivienne thinks carefully. She wants to answer honestly. I've learned that privilege is a gift, she says slowly. But it's a gift I don't deserve more than anyone else. I was born into wealth. I didn't earn it. And for a long time, I used it as a weapon. To get what I wanted. To avoid consequences. To feel superior. But these last 6 months, I learned something else. I learned that privilege should be used to help people. Not to hurt them. Not to lift myself up. But to lift others. Judge Caprio listens carefully. That's a good answer, he says. But I need to know something. Is this real? Or are you just saying what you think I want to hear? Vivienne meets his eyes. It's real, she says. I promise. I'm going back to the hospital. As a volunteer. Every weekend. Margaret said I could. And I want to. I really want to. Judge Caprio studies her face. He's been a judge for a long time. He can usually tell when people are lying. But he doesn't see lies in Vivienne's eyes. He sees truth. All right, he says finally. Ms. St. Clair, you have successfully completed your community service. Your license suspension is lifted. You may drive again. However, I want to make something very clear. If you ever appear in my courtroom again, for any violation, the consequences will be severe. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor, Vivienne says. I understand. And I promise you won't see me again. Not like that. Judge Caprio nods. I believe you. Case dismissed. The gavel comes down. Bang. The sound echoes. But it's not a scary sound this time. It's a sound of closure. Of completion. Of second chances. Vivienne turns to leave. Then she stops. She looks back at Judge Caprio. Your Honor, can I say something? Of course. I wanted to say thank you, Vivienne says. I was angry when you sentenced me. I thought you were cruel. But you weren't. You were kind. You gave me exactly what I needed. Even though I didn't know I needed it. You changed my life. And I'll never forget that. Judge Caprio smiles. It's a warm, grandfatherly smile. You changed your own life, Ms. St. Clair. I just pointed you in the right direction. Now go, and keep being the person you've become. Vivienne nods. She leaves the courtroom. Margaret is waiting outside. They hug again. So, Margaret says, "See you Saturday." "See you Saturday," Vivienne confirms. 6 months later, Vivienne is still volunteering at the hospital. Every weekend, sometimes during the week too. She's become friends with the staff. She knows all the regular patients. She's even started a fundraiser. A fundraiser to provide free parking for patients undergoing long-term treatment. She's raised over $50,000. Her father donated $20,000, but the rest came from regular people. People who believe in the cause. One day a news crew shows up. They want to do a story about the parking fund. About Vivienne. About her transformation. At first, Vivienne says no. She doesn't want attention. But Margaret convinces her. "This could inspire others," Margaret says. "Your story could help people." So Vivienne agrees. She does the interview. She talks about her mistakes. About her punishment. About what she learned. The story airs on the local news. Then it goes viral. Millions of people watch it. Some people criticize her. They say she's only doing this for publicity. But most people are supportive. They see genuine change. Judge Caprio sees the story. He watches it in his chambers. He smiles. This is why he does what he does. Not to punish people, but to teach them. To help them become better. He opens his desk drawer. Inside is a file. Vivienne St. file. He writes a note in the margin. Just 3 words. Mission accomplished. Hope restored. He closes the file. He puts it away. He has other cases to hear. Other people to help. But he'll remember Vivienne. She's proof that people can change. That second chances work. That justice isn't just about punishment. It's about transformation. That evening, Vivienne drives home from the hospital. She's tired but happy. She sees a handicapped parking spot. The blue-painted space. The symbol of a wheelchair. She thinks about Mr. Patterson. About Rosa. About Lily. About all the people she's met. She thinks about who she used to be. The girl who parked in those spots without caring. The girl who laughed at Margaret. The girl who thought money made her special. That girl is gone. She's someone new now. Someone better. Someone who cares. Someone who helps. Someone who understands that we're all connected. That how we treat each other matters. That privilege is a responsibility, not a right. She parks in a regular spot. She walks inside her house. Her parents are there. They hug her. They're proud of her. Really proud. Not because she's rich. Not because of her last name. But because of who she's become. Because of the choices she's making. That night, Vivienne lies in bed. She thinks about everything. About the journey. About the change. About the future. She thinks about Judge Caprio's words. About Margaret's kindness. About the patients she's helped. She smiles. Tomorrow is Saturday. She'll wake up early. She'll drive to the hospital. She'll help people. And she can't wait. Because she's learned the most important lesson of all. Money can buy many things. Designer clothes. Expensive cars. Gold jewelry. But can't buy respect. It can't buy dignity. It can't buy the feeling of making a real difference in someone's life. And in Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, money definitely cannot buy justice. Justice is blind. It doesn't see wealth or poverty. It doesn't see power or weakness. It only sees actions and consequences. Right and wrong. And when you're wrong, you pay the price. But if you're willing to learn, if you're willing to change, if you're willing to grow, then justice can be more than punishment. It can be transformation. Vivienne St. learned that lesson the hard way. But she learned it. And now she's teaching it to others. By example. By action. By living differently. That's the real power of justice. Not in the punishment, but in the possibility of redemption.